NASCAR marketing in 2025 is trash. Now I know there's gonna be the rebuttal, oh, aren't you being a little bit too harsh? Yeah, maybe I am, and I should give credit where credit's due. At least with trash, occasionally you'll find something that's somewhat useful, like a former Domino's delivery driver's entire diecast collection, since he believes that NASCAR is fake, similar to how birds aren't real. I cannot say the same about NASCAR's marketing because it is largely ineffective and out of touch for the audience that NASCAR wants to reach. So first things first, what are the main demographics that NASCAR is trying to target when growing its fan base? On one hand, you have your hard-working, blue-collar, working-class American that believes in the traditional American values. They believe in the fundamentals of the United States of America, that if you work hard, it doesn't matter what race, gender, ethnicity, or financial class you come from, you can have a successful and fruitful life. NASCAR also wants young fans that are full of energy and youthful in their spirit. The reason why is because not only are you going to have people be engaged in your product for many decades, but possibly generations if some of those people end up having kids and pass down those traditions to their bloodline. Now, while I did say that NASCAR marketing is trash, I will say that for the majority of NASCAR's run, they have successfully attracted these two types of fans. For example, back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, NASCAR really was a solid representation of the American dream. A lot of the drivers came from blue-collar, working-class backgrounds, namely Ole Hickory, Cale Yarborough, who was a turkey farmer, as well as Alan Kulwicki, who took the major risk of selling all of his stuff to pursue becoming a successful driver team owner in the NASCAR Cup Series. Plus, on the other hand, in the 90s and the 2000s, NASCAR really became a focal point of American culture. You had guys like Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Tony Stewart appear in rock and roll music videos. You had Jeff Gordon be a cameo in several movies, as well as be the host of Saturday Night Live. Everywhere you went, you could tell that NASCAR drivers were a status symbol and that they were essentially major rock stars with how they were represented in American culture. Contrast that with the year 2025. NASCAR has completely lost all of those qualities that made it great. Now, I would say at least that the overarching reason is the fact that traditional American values, way of life, the quote-unquote American dream is dying. When you look at the NASCAR Cup Series grid in 2025, you will see that a majority of the drivers are not necessarily there because of talent, but because they're Nepo babies, or their father has a ton of money, or their grandfather is the owner of a successful Cup team. This flies directly in the face of the blue-collar portion of the NASCAR fan base, and I'm sure if you ask them about the NASCAR drivers today, they would say, yup, they're all rich soy boys. The drivers today are not relatable to working class Americans, and so as a result, you also have a lot of drivers that have zero personality. It's hard to develop a personality, character, and morals when you have a Hendrick Motorsports development deal at 15. Because of that, you have many NASCAR Cup Series drivers that are so boring. Now, I was going to compare them to a piece of toast, but at least with a piece of toast, you can put some butter on it. You can add a little bit of jams, jellies, seasonings, whatever you'd like. In 2025, we've gotten to the point where our Daytona 500 champ has zero personality, to where we have to force him to simp for Sabrina Carpenter just to say, hey, he's got some things about him. There is also the element that NASCAR is becoming less and less of a blue-collar sports league. It's not just the drivers, as look at the Gen 7 car. Honestly, I am starting to think that the Gen 7 is one of the worst things that has ever happened to NASCAR. What NASCAR did with this car is they took out the elements of chassis building and fab shop work, and they replaced it with a car that has different parts and pieces that you can kind of put together like it's on an assembly line. In the NASCAR Cup Series, they have completely lost that blue-collar working element of getting your elbows dirty and really fine-tuning your car for the sake of parity and making sure that everyone is super. Everyone is super! But the thing is, when everyone is super, then no one will be. You can also look at the fact that car culture is on the decline because, nowadays buying a used car is like $15,000, $20,000. So the thing is, you have a NASCAR Cup Series that has been stripped of its identity and aura that it once had when it was blue collar and you had drivers that could relate to the everyday person. These are the main external problems with NASCAR's marketing. However, I'm not going to sit there and blame it all on external circumstances like the economy being shit, things like that. In many ways, NASCAR marketing is just completely out of touch, especially with some of the decisions that they have made in this past month. To try to get back on track, NASCAR has decided to bring in two outside marketing firms. The first one, 72 and Sunny, is supposedly supposed to help NASCAR rekindle its rebellious American spirit. The second agency NASCAR will bring on is Night Advisory to, get this, quote unquote, understand this new world of the internet and how NASCAR could start reaching a younger audience. Are you fucking serious? The new world of the internet. What is this, fucking 2012? I've been a NASCAR content creator for over a decade, and this brand new Night Advisory NASCAR marketing agency has the audacity to pretend like the internet is this brand new phenomenon. Look, I'm not going to hold back. I already know that NASCAR bringing on these two ad agencies is going to fail miserably. If you want an example, just look at Cracker Barrel. In many ways, you could argue that Cracker Barrel is similar to NASCAR in that they have kind of a traditional fan base, and then they tried to bring out people outside of their company to try to turn things around. Look what happened.
You look at it! Look at it! I want all of you to look at it!
Outside marketing agencies are completely out of touch, and that's why I say with confidence that NASCAR Night Advisory will fail. Like, seriously, I already know that the first thing that Night Advisory is going to mention in NASCAR is the fact that, hey, maybe the races are too long as they don't fit nicely into a YouTube short or a TikTok reel. Why don't you consider shortening the cup races to 250, 300 miles? But here's the thing, why in the first place does NASCAR have to go to outside agencies to try to fix their problems with the marketing? To me, this is an indication that NASCAR corporate is failing miserably. If you think about it, why does NASCAR have to go to an outside marketing firm when you have possibly hundreds upon thousands of people working in Daytona Beach and Charlotte trying to market the NASCAR brand? Why aren't they doing a good job? My theories to this are as follows. Number one, the people in NASCAR corporate are too archaic and a couple decades out of touch. Seriously, just go to a NASCAR race in 2025 and you will see how millennial coded it is, especially with their choices in music. Seriously, Ed Sheeran, Shape of You, what are they thinking? As that's what I see with NASCAR's social media strategy as well, because they have had moments where they have guys like fucking Mario Lopez try to explain the NASCAR playoffs through croquet. And then when all else fails, they go super corporate like you see with the advertisements for races at tracks like Martinsville, Kansas, or Talladega. If you've seen some of those ads, it's the same cookie cutter, look at the racing, look at the crashing, look at the tailgating, okay, it's also a playoff race, please fucking buy your tickets. It just seems like the people there just are not making the right decisions to really build an aura, build just an awesome badass identity, and instead go for basic, just generic things that they think are going to be interesting but fall flat in 2025. Not to mention NASCAR's captivating marketing taglines over the years. Who could forget "I am NASCAR"? It's like the marketing people had a 5-year-old kid that shouted "I am Groot" everywhere around the house after watching the Guardians of the Galaxy films and decided, yep, let's go with that one for our marketing. Then in 2025, they decided to do "Welcome to More." Like, what the is that even supposed to mean? What? Welcome to more aero blocking? Welcome to more gimmicks? Welcome to more subpar champions statistically? Now, apparently for 2026, NASCAR is going to reignite their blue-collar fan base by using the term "Hell yeah!" While in theory, this is a compelling tagline, this is NASCAR and this is brand marketing advisors in the year 2025. My belief, based on what I've seen, is that they're going to screw this up either by the message being ineffective or having an out-of-touch style of marketing that just has NASCAR fans looking back and saying, really? So, I've laid out the problems, and now it's time for me to not be a complete hypocrite and offer a solution. I think first and foremost, the thing that NASCAR needs to do is that they need to take a long look into NASCAR's marketing team. Now, here's the thing. I am not anywhere connected to NASCAR corporate, and I don't speak for them directly, but I have my theories. I honestly believe that either these marketing jobs in NASCAR corporate aren't serious, or NASCAR is clearly hiring people based on resumes and like where they went to college. Basically, I'm questioning NASCAR's hiring methods, as are they bringing on people because they're skilled at marketing or content creation? Or are they bringing them in because they dressed up like Ricky Bobby at a frat party 15 years ago? However, the thing is that we don't necessarily live in the boomer world of hiring anymore. Nowadays, anyone, anywhere can showcase their motorsports related skills, whether it's marketing, paint scheme design, content creation, etc., as long as they have a camera, a laptop, and some working Wi-Fi. It is my belief that if NASCAR wants to turn things around, they need to start reaching out. They need to start hitting up the DMs of people on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram that have done a great job having a passion for motorsports and showcasing their skills online, and possibly trying to work with them in the future. For example, if NASCAR wants to better their content creation aspect, they should work with guys like Eric Estep and Stapleton 42, who have done a fantastic job engaging younger fans with the history and the current news of NASCAR. When it comes to the marketing, try to bring on people that have been lifelong NASCAR fans that are creating these badass videos and reels. Make it to where NASCAR, the tracks, the teams have an aura, have an energy around them. If NASCAR is serious about turning their marketing around, ditch the out-of-touch brand agencies and instead embrace the people that clearly have a passion and a love for NASCAR in the first place.